Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first Motivation Monday of 2025. Today, we want to talk about your instincts and tuning into your instincts. Oftentimes, we get the signs, we have the feeling, which we doubt because we want to believe that people are whoever we think they are or who they masquerade themselves to be. So we get the feeling that something is not right, something is not adding up. The red flags are there, but we don't want to see it because we so want to believe in people, right? And we want to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. And simple as that is, sometimes that could cost you your life because you got those signs, you felt the feeling in your gut, but you still went where you was invited to or whatever, and it could be something where you could get set up to get robbed, you know, the word that rhymes with grape or anything, because you so want to believe in people and don't want to tune in to that feeling that you have, right? It even same thing for people in relationships. You something is telling you something is just not right, and then you just keep ignoring it until it cannot be ignored anymore. And by this point, it's too late. You're either in a relationship where the person is cheating on you, or they had somebody all along and they were lying to both of you, right? And you're saying to yourself, something, they told me they went to work today, but they said they're normally off on this day. Certain things just not adding up. And you're actually catching them in a bunch of lies, but you're thinking to yourself, maybe I'm making a mistake. Maybe that's not what they told me. And sometimes they're so convincing, they'll convince you, no, I didn't say that. Or that was just that week, or whatever. Or somebody says they're working overtime, but they could never show you the money. Where's the overtime money? They're still, counting pennies, but they're giving you this excuse for why they're not around. And these types of people are so convincing and manipulative, they would have you second guessing yourself. And it doesn't matter what part of your life this person, you know, is, if it's a relative, if it's a lover, if it's an employee, it doesn't matter. A lot of times things just don't feel right. You walk into a room, some is telling you run for the hills, but you're still going, you're walking into a death trap. Sometimes you're around a group of people and two people from the group don't like you, and everyone knows it. And when you walk around them, you could feel the energy, and you could see before you walked into the room, everyone was talking and laughing. And the minute you enter, everybody stops. But you still want to believe, oh, they're so happy to see me, and maybe I'm reading this wrong. No, you're not. The signs that you're getting, the feelings that you're getting in the pit of your stomach is never wrong. Generally, when you think something is a certain way, that's exactly how it is. But people would convince you, and then you would start convincing yourself because you want to believe in people and you want to see the good in everyone to your own detriment. So your instincts is very important to tune into, clear out all the noise around you and pay attention. Because a lot of times we get the feeling, we shake it off and say, I'm tripping. No, you're not. You're absolutely not. And that could really be a matter of life or death. Even going into Uber and you have a feeling that something just doesn't sit right. You don't like the way the driver's looking at you. You don't like the way they're talking on the phone and whispering and looking at you a sort of a way, and everything is telling you to cancel, but you're like, oh, I already called the Uber and I don't want to call them back and cancel, and maybe this, maybe that. Maybe you could stay alive if you follow your instinct. In any scenario, your instinct most times don't ever lead you wrong. And sometimes something is close to happening to you and it could not be that day, but you're getting the signs to stay away from these people or this particular person, or you're getting the signs not to go back to this place. But you're so trusting, okay? and you so want to see everybody in a good light, and you think everything is roses and butterflies. They're not. Tune in, listen, listen to the unheard songs. The signs are always there. Even as I said, for relationships, sometimes the red flags are there. They're blowing. They're blowing in the wind like carnival. And you still want to believe, nah, maybe I'm seeing wrong. Maybe it's just one flag and it's not really that high. So maybe nothing. Maybe everything you're getting, all the feelings you're getting, your paws raised, the different things, maybe it's trying to warn you to be careful and exit, abort mission. But a lot of times especially if you're a good person, you're a kind person, you want to believe that everyone is good and kind. And you want to believe people wouldn't do you certain things, but they would. Some people be really nice to you to set you up for the kill and invite you to an event knowing 9 of the 10 people that's going to be there don't like you. And they're smiling in your face. I've seen so many cases of things like that where people I think one of the ones that stick out in my head is how you say her name? Shakila Robinson, where she went on this, when they went to Cancun or whatever it was. And from what I heard, she paid for it because she was in a better position than the other people. And it was one of her friend's birthday. And she paid for the guest house or whatever. She ended up losing her life because she wanted to believe, even though they probably gave her signs all along, like, you think you're better than us or whatever. She wanted to believe that they wouldn't do something like that to her. They end up, beating her to a pulp, and she end up hemorrhaging in the head and whatever, broken bones, whatever. So I hate to bring up these kind of, situations. And a lot of times people would say that you're paranoid. But if a lot of people pay attention to things like this, they will realize these things happen more often than not. I've seen situations even in Africa. You open a beauty salon, you invited your friends, you're so happy that you don't have to do hair out of your house no more. And you thinking these people are happy for you, they're not. They're like, we're suffering, and now you in a position to, buy a building or whatever and have your own salon. That can't happen. And they poison you, sitting at the same table, eating, laughing with you. So tuning in and listening to your instincts is very, very important. The little signs are always there. You feel like an unnerving type of feeling sometimes when you're around certain people. But you keep saying to yourself, I don't know why I'm feeling like this, but they're cool. No, they're not. I had a situation once where I was invited to a party, same way, and the one person who invited me to the party was very joyful, and she's like, "Oh, you have to come, and I'll send a car to pick you up," and da 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 da. I'm not gonna give the exact details, but in the end, that party was, I don't know how to say this, you know, without going into too much, but the party was with a group of people that were doing things that I was not a fan of. And apparently, they had planned to invite me to the party and get me drunk or whatever the case may be. And I would have been involved in certain things that I would not have done willingly. But whatever they was going to put in my drink or whatever, I wouldn't have known what was what. And next thing you know, I might have ended up on tape or whatever. Right? And I was told by someone close to me not to go. And I wanted to believe that, I made friends, right? Even though something was telling me the girl was too eager and she keep asking me, "You're going to come, right? You're going to come, right?" And then sometimes when she's asking me, other people in the back and they're snickering. And I was like, what is this? And somebody close to me told me, don't go to that. Don't go. I'm begging you. And I was upset. Like, why? I just want to go and have some fun. But then I come to find out after the whole thing was a setup. So I'm saying that to say this. Your instinct is generally never wrong. The slightest strange feeling you have, the slightest uneasy feeling you have, it doesn't matter if you walking down the street and something sometimes tells you, turn around and go the other way. Right? It have more than one way to go somewhere. And something tell you go left and make the half a circle. instead of going right and coming back left to meet wherever you're going, and you don't listen. I had a situation once where I stopped to talk to someone while making the decision to go left or right. And while I stopped to talk to them, there was a shootout. If I didn't stop to talk to them the same direction that my gut was telling me not to go, I would have ended up in the shootout because somebody saw the enemy, or as they would call them, the ops, and they just pull and they both shooting at each other. So if I didn't stop to talk to this person and ignore the fact that my instinct was telling me go the other way, when the person ran out, they don't care who's walking, they don't care if it's children, they don't care if it's elderly people. When they see each other and they plan to get at each other for whatever it is, you would get caught in the way. So I'm saying this to say, always listen to that inner voice, and that feeling in your gut is hardly ever wrong, and it could save your life. Thank you all for listening. Love you guys, old rock stars, new rock stars, in between rock stars. I appreciate you all. Love you all. See you in another video. Smooches. You're the hot shot.